Money will no longer be a problem if you do this thing. Maybe you heard, more money, more problems. Or maybe your biggest problem is you just don't have enough money. Well, if you can do this one thing, you can bring more money into your life. This is Jake Ducey with JakeDucey.com. Today's a great day to be alive. Make sure you hit the like button right over there and let's dive right into this video. Okay, so what happens a lot of times when we don't have the amount of money that we want, no matter what the level is? It could be $1 million and you want $1 billion, or it could be negative 10,000 and you just want to get out of debt for starters and then have some momentum. The thing is, if we have a deep wish or desire for a financial life that is different than what we have, and we feel like we are underachieving or we don't have enough, and it causes stress or fear or worry or anxiety or what have you, a lot of times what happens is we don't respect the money that's here in our lives right now. But here's the thing, money has ears and it hears when you call it. Money has ears and it hears when you call it. Comment that down below. Money has ears and it hears when you call it. What I mean by that is you can't wait until you get more money for you to start showing up different in your financial life. Because how you do anything is how you do everything, to the point that, you know, this world that we call the physical world? See these hands right here? Do you see my wedding ring right there? None of this stuff is solid. It's actually 99% empty space. Everything in this physical universe, this chair I'm sitting on, the screen you're watching on, like legitimately think about this for a minute. The thing that you're holding, whether it's a computer, maybe you are even watching this on a television, your phone, it's 99% empty space. Do you realize what that means? What the heck is it? This world that we think is physical is actually 99% empty space. It's energy. And the craziest thing is that there's something called the observer effect in quantum physics. And so basically, scientists were looking at atoms, and then they found out there's things smaller than atoms, and you get down to subatomic particles. Subatomic particles are 99% empty space, but what they found is sometimes they would exist and sometimes they wouldn't exist. So a particle, meaning that with these really powerful instruments, with these really powerful microscopes, they're able to see something. It's a particle. The chair, it's made up of particles. My body, $1 million sitting on the table in front of you, those are particles. But what they found is when they looked at these things, sometimes they were particles and sometimes they were waves. Wave, what does that mean? Wave meaning that it's an energy state. So you can no longer perceive it even with powerful microscopes. So essentially it went to the invisible realm. It went bye-bye. And ironically, depending on the consciousness observing it, sometimes it would exist and sometimes it wouldn't exist. Sometimes it would be a particle and sometimes it would be a wave. Sometimes it would be perceivable and sometimes it would be invisible. Particle and a wave. So the craziest thing is, so if everything is energy, much like you blow a dog whistle and you can't hear the dog whistle, so it's like, okay, is it not a particle? Does the sound wave not exist? Yes, it does. It's just outside of the energy level that your ears can pick up. Well, similarly, you might be looking and you feel like your financial life isn't where you want it to be. Remember this, I read it in The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. Lack of evidence is not evidence of lack. Just because you can't see it, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It's just in the wave state. So this is really significant things, because what happens is a lot of times when we look at our mobile banking and we don't see or our paycheck and we don't see the amount of money in there that we want, we say things like, I am broke. I do not have enough. When is this ever going to work? But I'm working so hard. I really want it. But when you're doing that, what you're doing, or there's not enough money and you say, well, I'll save once I get more money. In other words, I'm not respecting it and I'm under the assumption that I don't have. Well, the ironic thing about that is, since the observer effect is, what it's saying is consciousness. The scientist observing it, the consciousness observing it, determined whether it existed or whether it didn't exist, whether it was a particle or a wave. And remember, a table or $1 million or your dream car, it's all 99% empty space. So what we can see and perceive as real is only 0.1% of existence. It's only 0.1%. 99% of everything is invisible. And the craziest thing about that is, you say, well, what is this invisible thing? You can call it consciousness, you can call it spirit, you can call it God, you can call it anything you want. Call it anything you want. Alan Watts says you can't get wet by the word water. It's not the word. You can't get wet by the word water. You can comment that down below. You can't get wet by the word water. You can't get wet by it. Now, this is so important when it comes to money, because your consciousness, just like in the observer effect, the consciousness determined whether something was real or not real, realistic or unrealistic, reality or mere wish, mere daydream. The consciousness determined it, and everything is made up of these particles or this energy. And so if you look at the particles of your life and there is not the amount of money that you want, if you allow your thoughts and your consciousness to get controlled by the 0.1%, only 0.1%, if your consciousness, if your senses get sucked in to the 0.1%, you will be at that observation level, the observer effect. That's what determines whether something becomes a particle, whether something becomes real, or whether something stays as a wave, as an energy level that is beyond the visible light that your eyes are able to perceive. So the observer, the consciousness determined it. So if we look at this as a macro scale from our life, and your consciousness is, I do not have money, I'll save once I get more money. That's what you're saying. If you're saying, I'll save once I get more money, what you're really saying is, I'm going to continue to not have any money, and so I'm not going to make any changes because I don't trust my financial life will change. But remember, money has ears, and it hears when you call. So all of a sudden, that cute saying at the beginning, money has ears and you hear when it calls, that cute little saying actually has a lot of scientific truth to it, because everything has ears and it hears when you call. But the way you call it is from your observation, is from your level of consciousness. Because that's what determines whether you call it and it comes, meaning it becomes a particle in your life, or it stays as a wave, it stays as something that you perceive as absent in your life and missing in your life. But the truth is, nothing can be missing, because we're all just different manifestations of this one energy. Call it whatever you want, God, spirit, consciousness, energy, whatever you want to call it, the universe. Alan Watts says you can't get wet by the word water, but the reality is we're all connected to it. So technically, the prosperity that you want isn't missing, but if you continue to collapse infinite possibilities using the observer effect with your own consciousness, with your own thoughts and beliefs that money is absent, or you aren't good enough, or you aren't smart enough, or it's way too hard, or the rich people have it all, the reality is your consciousness will continue to collapse infinite possibilities into into a bunch of little particles, into a bunch of little circumstances, into your physical reality that your eyes perceive as existence. But it's only 0.1%, remember, because all the things that we're experiencing, your body included, it's only 0.1%, because 99% of what this is actually invisible. So we continue to create an illusory lack. Lack is just an illusion that is projected from our own consciousness. And at any moment, we can start to actually look and say, I'm abundant. God's wealth flows to me in avalanches of abundance. Every single day I'm getting richer and richer. I'm making others rich. I have financial independence. I have financial freedom. I am worthy of every single thing that I want, because we don't want money. Money's just paper. We want the things money will buy. So the real question is, are you worthy of being someone that can fly first class, have your dream car, donate to your church or charity, put your kids into the right school, have the financial freedom to pursue your passions? Are you worthy of all those things? And the answer is unequivocally yes. And when these things shift in your consciousness, you go to a consciousness of possibility. Remember, in the Science of Getting Rich, it said, to think what you want to think is to think truth, regardless of appearance. To think what you want to think, meaning to think by your own free will. To have your consciousness dwell upon the heaven you wish to manifest here on earth. Your consciousness there. You have the choice to do that. To think what you want to think, regardless of appearance. Regardless of the appearance of your bank account, of your present life. Because that's only 0.1% of existence. All the other energy and possibilities that ever were and ever will be are 100% evenly present right here, right now, because energy is never created or destroyed. Science has long shown us energy is never created or destroyed, and everything is energy. That's all this is. So all the financial opportunities are right here in front of your face. Just like this, your life can shift because consciousness determines everything. It's what determines actually whether the things in your life exist or don't exist, are particles or waves, that you can actually start to speak prosperity into your life and attract the perfect people at the perfect time. But you have to start to not just believe it, not just say, I agree with you, Jake. You have to know like you know, that the supply of money is infinite. The supply of prosperity is infinite. That you're worthy of everything that you want. And when that happens, you start to open the door for amazing opportunities. So comment down below, money has ears and it hears when you call. Comment down below, money has ears and it hears when you call. So this is Jake Ducey with JakeDucey.com. Make sure you hit the like button right over here on this to send this out into the YouTube universe. Remember, consciousness creates reality, including your bank account, and money has ears and it hears when you call. Right there down below is my free success hypnosis. It's jakeshypnosis.com. It's right there down below, pinned to the comments. It's a success hypnosis to reprogram your subconscious, because most of the consciousness that you project as your existence, as your life, is actually habitual. It's subconscious. Sub means below. So it's below conscious. We aren't aware of it. It's a habit. It's like a record player. But you can reprogram all that. So I created a success hypnosis that over 700,000 people from all over the world have now used. Every day I get these amazing success stories. It's free to use, only take you a couple minutes. All I ask is that you give it a try and watch the miracles that come into your life, and come back and share your success story in the comments below. If you do use it, or you've had success with the other things I talk about on this channel, please share your story right there down below. Maybe I'll feature it in a video. In the least, I would love to read it, and you'll really inspire everybody else by you sharing your success story. So comment down your success story down below, and check out jakeshypnosis.com, pinned to the comments right there down below for free. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell notification as well. Okay, have a great day. Great things are on the way. Remember, you live in a friendly universe. Let's end this video with a couple deep breaths to just get our mind nice and calm to move on through the rest of the day, afternoon, or evening. So take a deep breath in and out. Maybe when you do this next one, you take a deep breath in and out and you feel your shoulders relax. Maybe it just will make you smile through the rest of the day, because you're going to feel so good. So maybe take one more deep breath in and out. And let it go. Money has ears and it hears when you call.